I'm a software engineer by day and a music producer by night. And most artists and producers alike are thinking about AI completely wrong. AI is not going to kill music, but it may kill your development. Right now, there are programs out there that can develop an entire song in the matter of a few seconds. Melodies, drums, vocals, mixing, the whole thing. A lot of producers and artists are scared of it. Others are fully leaning into the AI trend, but there are some things we need to take into consideration. I think both sides are missing the point, really. AI is just pattern prediction. It doesn't have taste, it doesn't have identity, it doesn't have creativity. And if you let AI take over the creation progress and make creative decisions for you, you're going to completely lose out on the music. And you're not going to be able to develop in those areas. And that's the real risk. So in this video, I want to draw a clear line of what I believe to be acceptable use of AI in music production and what is not. First things first, let's demystify this. AI is just a predictive tool. AI is not creative. It doesn't have ideas. It doesn't wake up feeling inspired. It doesn't have any feelings towards the music it makes. It just analyzes data and then predicts the next thing. That's it. If you ask AI for a trap melody, it's going to give you statistically the most likely trap inspired melody based on what it's heard before. And that's powerful, but understand what that means. AI is very good at averaging, and average is the opposite of identity. So what's the danger of AI introducing itself into the music space? A lot of producers fear that AI is going to replace the producer, and that's not what's going to happen. The real risk is that producers are going to replace themselves with AI. If you're using a tool that makes the melodies, makes the drums, does the mixing, what are you doing? What are you putting into this track? You're not producing anything at that point, and you're not improving as a producer. You're not improving your ear, you're not improving your taste, you're not improving your abilities to create beats. You're just pressing a button and generating something. The more you outsource creative decisions, the less powerful your own instincts are going to be. Now let's talk about one of the most important things here when thinking about using AI in music production is whether or not that AI is trained ethically or not. Platforms like Suno are under heavy fire and have been caught red-handed in scraping data and stealing people's intellectual property without their consent. And that is not okay. That is something that we have to concern ourselves with. This has to be like a major factor in our decision making whether or not we use these platforms. You wouldn't want someone stealing your music and using it without your permission. And that's exactly what Suno has done. They're just copying people's work, outputting it to other people. It's going to become a whole mess. If AI is trained on songs, melodies, MIDI patterns, whatever, from artists and producers who have consented to that, who've been properly paid for that, that is one thing. And then what Suno and other platforms have done is something completely different. And we need to make sure that the platforms we're using are ethically trained. So tools that we should not be using as producers, artists, whatever your creative venture is here, is anything that generates the entire thing for us. Platforms like Suno that create an entire song in seconds. You are not a producer. If that's how you're making beats, if that's how you're making songs, you're not an artist. At most, you're a writer if you wrote the lyrics. That is it. Like, you're just pressing generate. You are describing something and you're letting the AI take complete creative control over that. Yes, you may have to refine it, blah, blah, blah. We've all heard the arguments from people all over the internet. That is not producing. If you use a platform that generates music for you and then you upload that song, you're not a producer. Plain and simple. You're just the user of a platform that makes AI music. Does that make you evil? No. If you're using a platform like Suno that we all know has stolen from people, I'd have some questions about your morals, but other than that, whatever, right? It's like, it's not the end of the world, but you're not a producer. You didn't do the work, okay? Doesn't make you a bad person. It's just a different field. Now let's talk about tools that use AI that I think are acceptable uses. Anything that enhances you, anything that helps your workflow, but isn't actually doing everything for you, I think is a perfectly fine use of AI if it's ethically trained. So a couple of things that come to mind would be like Co-Producer from Arcade or from Output. It analyzes your track, and then based on your prompt, or if you leave the prompt empty just based on your track, it suggests samples for you. These samples are part of Arcade. They are created by people who have been compensated for their work with Output, so that's 100% ethical, and it's not doing everything for you. It's just enhancing your search to find samples. It's a time saver, maybe even an inspiration tool. Another one, Spawn from Sauceware. Spawn's a really cool plugin. It generates you a melody, bass line, chords, that kind of thing. It's a MIDI generation tool that has sounds built in that they made themselves. So it doesn't actually generate sounds, it generates MIDI, which you can then alter, right? So that altering piece is big, because now you have something, you have a starting point, but you can go in and you can edit that, you can change the sounds, you can swap out to different VSTs, whatever. Like, you have a lot of control within the program, and even taking the MIDI outside of the program. So it's not doing everything for you. It's just an inspiration tool, and I think that is perfectly fine as well. Other things, like there's chord generation tools. There's a new one from Mix New Key called Wingman that analyzes whatever audio you put in there and suggests chords. You can switch those chords, you can change where they play and stuff like that. It's another thing where it's like, it gives you a head start, but it's not going to do everything for you. You still have to know sound selection. You still have to have the taste, the identity that you want to put into the track. And again, it's not something that is stealing other people's work. As a software engineer, here's how I think about it. There's basically two different categories that AI can fall into. One would be decision making, and two would be acceleration. Anything that is doing everything for you, generates an entire song, that's going to fall into category one, where it's making the decisions. Things like Spawn, Wingman, Co-Producer, these are acceleration uses. These are assisting you in your process, but they're not doing everything for you. If the tool generates a melody and you tweak a note, you tweak the note placement, you are still making the final call. You switch the sound selection, you're still making the final call. But if you press a button and it just does everything for you, you're no longer producing, you're just supervising. So let me know in the comments if you use AI tools in any way in your production or in your business. Let me know your thoughts on AI. AI is here to stay. It's not going to take over music production. I don't think that's really a possibility. I don't think it's going to take over artists. It's just not feasible. Humans are always going to have to provide creative input. AI is not creative. It just predicts patterns based on stuff that real humans have made. I think what it will do is it will raise the floor, meaning there's going to be a lot more average music out there. It's going to be a lot easier to get to that average level. But for people who are really into this, who are really wanting to be successful, that doesn't really matter, because to stand out, you're going to have to be above that. And the only way you can go above that is by really knowing what you're doing and knowing how to be a producer, artist, etc. Till next time, it's been Frenchie the Producer. Peace.